As the saying goes, life and death are destined. Wealth and honor are up to the heavens. It seems that from the moment of birth, everyone's fate in this life is set. Looking at the masses of people, it's all just a dream in the mortal world. Why are some born in Rome, while others are just beasts of burden? Can ordinary people really not change their destiny? That's not necessarily true. My name is Chang Xiaoyu. I watch over this Deity Statue Shop on Shengshang Road in Xuzhou. They called it a deity shop, but at night, people always show up with all sorts of bizarre problems. Like this guy at the counter in his early 40s, looking as nervous as if he had swallowed a time bomb. When he first got out of his black BMW, he paced outside the door for almost 10 minutes, like he was afraid of walking into a lion's den. When the wind chime rang, I looked up and met his slightly shifty gaze. Before he could speak, I pointed to the west. Hey, buddy, we're not a massage parlor. That shampoo, facial, Thai wellness, full set 98 yuan sign belongs to the young lady next door. A big windstorm the other day blew it over my shop sign. If you want a foot wash, go next door. He swallowed hard. His voice was shaking like a leaf. I came here specifically to find you, Master Chang. I glanced at the statues on the wall cabinet. The Great Sage, the South Sea, Kuan Yin, the God of Wealth, the 4 Mojiang generals. We even have Jesus and Tai Kumanthong. A dazzling array. Looking for a patron, are you? Feel free to look. If you don't see what you want, we can custom make it. Price is negotiable. But he shook his head vigorously, introducing himself. My name is Zhao Jiagui. Didn't see one you liked? I cut him off, grabbing my tablet. I pulled up a picture of a custom spirit, Jiagui. Look at this. Many people wish to invite him, but aren't even qualified to look. You're young, a man of talent, even with a little thinning on top. But a wise head has no need for hair. A natural-born hero like you is the fated person Master Jiagui has been waiting for. 12,998. Card or bank transfer. Cash works too. I've really seen a ghost. He suddenly sounded like he was about to cry. He yanked open his satchel and slapped 100,000 in cash on the counter like he was dropping a slab of pork. Master Chang, I know your business is mysterious and you don't usually speak the truth. Please stop the song and dance. I'm sincerely begging for help. 100,000 now. If you solve it, another 200,000. I finally dropped the act. I pulled out 2 cigarettes, lit one for myself, and handed one to him. Seeing as you're so sincere, I won't take the money yet. Tell me the situation. If it's doable, he'll lend a small hand. He took a shaky drag on the cigarette, his gaze distant, fixed on the ceramic tea set on the counter. Once he started talking, he couldn't stop. Yesterday, at 12 a.m., my dad asked me to go night fishing. I thought, since Mom passed, he wanted to comfort me. I was half dressed when my father covered my mouth and said there was a sound in the courtyard. Only then did I remember I was at my old home, guarding the family grave, and I was sleeping in the same bed as my father. Before I could ask if it was a ghost in the yard, his tone suddenly shifted, his voice trembling. Today, I wanted to eat meat. Do you know what my dad did? He said at noon. His father sat under the juju tree. The yellow dog they'd raised for 9 years was lying in the shade. His father beckoned, and the dog wagged its tail and nuzzled his foot. But the next second, his father pulled out a knife and slit the dog's neck. The dog yelped and hid in the woodpile. His father beckoned again. It still came back, trembling, and then another cut. He repeated this several times, the knife going deeper each time. Finally, the yellow dog died in agony, crawling back towards his father. It left a trail of blood. There were tears in the dog's eyes, but it didn't dare to cry out. He wanted to cry too, but he didn't dare. That night, my dad made dog meat soup and called me to eat. He just said one word, come. Tears welled in his eyes. That's when I understood. The one in the courtyard at 12 last night, that was my real father. He was asking me to go night fishing to try and save me. The one sleeping next to me, that was the ghost. He started flattering me again, said he'd asked around. All the big bosses praised me, said I could see the future, that I was a lion tamer king, that my colleagues respectfully called me Blue Sky, Master Chang. I waved it off, just empty titles, just professional flattery within the circle. Put your left hand on the table. I extended my index and middle fingers and pressed them to his pulse. The moment my skin touched his, my eyelid twitched violently after a moment. I said gravely, this is very serious. He'll write you a method of salvation. I picked up a pen and paper. As I wrote, I spoke, tomorrow, take the 250 bus to the dance girl stop. To the northeast of the stop, there's a big, white building. It's the Dance Girl Psychiatric Hospital. Go in, take the elevator. The 5th floor is gynecology. Go to the 4th floor, reap. I tore up the paper and started writing again when I handed it to him. He slapped it away. Master Chang, he said hysterically. You're doing it again? How much money do you want? Don't interrupt me. I sat up straight and kicked the cash on the table back at him. Money, money, money. You think I'm just obsessed with money? Is this a problem money can solve? You have no idea what you've done, do you? To put it bluntly, you're already a dead man. His heart skipped a beat. Thud, he fell to his knees, grabbing my leg, crying, Master Chang, you really do have great power. I was led astray. Who knew that Qing Dynasty female corpse just saved me 500,000, 800,000, 1 million. I held up a hand to stop him, still talking about money. Do you know how many cultivators wouldn't dare touch your mess? How many places did you get turned away from before you found me? Still don't get it? He nodded repeatedly. This is my last chance. If I say, you live, you live. If I tell you to go, you go straight to the crematorium. I flicked my ash. So, exit, turn left, 160 meters. Coffin, hearse, cremation, professional mourners, a one-stop service. Go. His breathing grew heavy. He grit his teeth. Master Chang, I know you do this cultivator business, but you also donate to a dozen orphanages and Hope elementary schools and sponsor poor university students in the mountains. You need money. You always need money. 3 million. This is my entire fortune. It can help you sponsor so many more poor people. Can you trade it for my life? This was his final ultimatum. I took a drag on my cigarette, thinking for a moment. 3 million for a path you can't see clearly. I suppose I can help you take a look. He finally let out a breath. Looks like he really did his research before coming. I tapped out the cigarette. The risk on this is a bit high, but fortune favors the bold. All right, I have 3 instructions for you. You must follow them immediately. He urgently asked, which 3? His eyes were filled with a desperate desire to live. I slowly took a puff of smoke, calculating in my head, since I've waded into this murky water, I have to play this just right. While others are warm in their beds at night. At the Deity Shop, encountering strange things. A nervous, middle-aged man shows up at night with 100,000 in cash, crying that Hayes seen a ghost, claiming the father sleeping next to him is a ghost. At first, I joked around, not wanting to get involved, but then I learned how serious it was. Zhao Jiagui kept raising the price to 3 million. I finally relented, and I'm about to give him 3 instructions. First, tonight, don't go back to your old den, and don't go to your home. Drive to the most expensive hotel and book the presidential suite. I paused and deliberately added, but you are not allowed to sleep in the room. Go stay in the men's room in the main lobby. Remember it wrong? You die. Go to the wrong one, you die. I could clearly see the flicker of confusion in his eyes, but I couldn't be bothered to explain. Arguing with someone who's been haunted and still doesn't know the depths of it is a waste of breath. Second, turn off your phone when you get to the hotel. Don't turn it on until you come see me tomorrow morning. He nodded hard, which was a good sign. He was listening. Third, tomorrow, wear thermal underwear, a sweater, cotton pants, at least 3 layers. The thicker, the better. And on top, wear a military gray coat. Check in here at 12 p.m. As soon as I said it, he froze. Wearing that in the dog days of summer, anyone would be stunned. I ignored his hesitation and barked, "Got it?" He finally stammered, "Why, yes." As he was about to leave, I pointed to the east wall cabinet. "Move all the statues from this wall into the back warehouse." His confusion was practically spilling out of him, but he didn't dare ask. He just called his driver to help him move them, watching them sweat buckets until the wall was empty. I nodded, satisfied, and pulled out my phone. Zhang Decorating Company. They did my courtyard last time. Time to put Zelen to use. The display wall is broken. Needs the whole thing torn down and repaired. The glass door is shattered too. Come at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I finished the call and hung up. I glanced at the baffled expressions on Zhao Jiagui and his driver. The wall was fine. The glass door was perfectly clear. Of course, they didn't understand. This was the clearer path for survival and to leave a place for what's coming to go. The next day, the sun was poisonous, hot enough to melt the road. I was lounging in my boss chair, listening to storytelling, feeling pretty good. Suddenly, a cold jolt ran through me. It's here. I pulled out my phone and dialed 120. Car accident at the intersection of Xianshan Road in the pedestrian street. It's bad. Send an ambulance. Quickly. A few minutes after I hung up, I heard the sound of the BMW at the door. Zhao Jiagui waddled over like a penguin, his military coat soaked in sweat, clutching the door handle, standing at the entrance. Don't come in. I pointed to the floor by the entrance. He was just about to push the door. I yelled, stop. If he had taken one step inside, that Mazda would have hit us both. He pleaded through the crack in the door, asking if he would live. I held up 5 fingers. 5 days. He started to cry out. I ignored him. I just counted down. 4, 3, 2. He must have realized what was happening. He was about to shout something. Crash. A blue Mazda smashed through the glass door, pinning him right against the empty east wall. I looked at him, covered in blood, his leg broken, impaled with glass shards. But my heart sank. His last words in the car. He didn't finish. I looked down. A severed hand, wearing a gold ring, was resting on my foot. Its fingers were slightly curled, radiating a chilling, evil energy. The ambulance arrived right on time. The paramedic said it was lucky he had those thick clothes, or he would have died instantly. The bleach blonde kid in the Mazda was screaming about a Qing Dynasty woman with no tongue. Who would believe him? Cops just thought he was high. Zhao Jiagui's driver, though, the way he looked at me, it was like he'd seen a god. He probably understood that I knew exactly what would happen. Moving statues, calling for repairs, calling the ambulance. It was all calculated. At the hospital, I had the driver stand guard. Call me at 7:30. The moment the surgery room doors opened, Zhao Jiagui was wheeled out, wrapped like a dumpling. I took out a dagger and gave his remaining thigh a sharp poke. If you don't wake up, how can I ask you anything? He opened his eyes and weakly cried, Master Chang. I suppressed my anger and threw the phone to the driver. Play it for him on the home security footage. His wife, in a red dress, was wielding a cleaver. She killed their son and then set a fire. Finally, she smiled at the camera with a segment of a finger in her mouth. He trembled violently, unable to even make a sound to cry. He just muttered, it's them. They set you up. They just want you dead to swallow your assets. I said coldly, refining corpse oil, cutting flesh curtains. You broke the industry's biggest taboos. Now you know how serious the consequences are. Tears streamed down his face. He wanted revenge. The final payment would be wired. I nodded, just as I was about to get up. He suddenly grabbed me. I have a daughter. She just graduated. I beg you, keep her safe. I almost laughed. Just saving you nearly got me killed. And you want me to protect her personally. That'll cost extra. He said he had no money left. Offered his car, his house. I sighed. Who doesn't want something tangible these days? Transferred the BMW to me. Invite a powerful master to protect her. It's a bargain. He still wanted me to do it personally. I stood up, my voice darkening. My Chang family ancestors braved Kunlan and descended into the South Seas, one of the 9 great That's how I earned the name Southern Sky Master Chang. And you don't trust me. His eyes were red. He grit his teeth. The final payment is on its way. In begging you, avenge my family's massacre. I nodded, finally, to the real issue. Now, tell me about that Qing Dynasty female corpse. Listening to Zhao Jiagui's stammering confession, I felt both furious and exasperated. It turns out this idiot had listened to some so-called expert and coveted a female master in a Qing Dynasty tomb. He barely understood that master was our circle's term for a corpse. But his greed was already leading him. He said when he pushed open the coffin lid, there was a shimmer of light inside. The female corpse inside was dressed lavishly, skin like smooth jade, lips like bright candles. Even her eyelashes were perfectly distinct, like a sleeping beauty. This idiot, at first, he thought had found an uncorrupted immortal. He prayed for a long time. When nothing happened, he got bold and pinched her face. When he checked her breath and found it was a corpse, he wasn't scared. Instead, he felt like he'd hit the jackpot, and then he actually stripped her funeral robes, layer by layer, took all her bracelets, rings, and hairpins, scraped the pearl powder from her ears and nose, and dug out the ritual object from her mouth. As I listened, my fists were clenched. In our circle, we may treat corpses as treasures, but I've never seen anything so depraved. What made me even more furious was, he didn't know the rights of inviting a corpse. He saw the skin was still supple when he pressed it. He was afraid it would reanimate, but he couldn't part, so he actually grabbed a knife jumped into the coffin and cut her flesh lotus, and then rendered her corpse oil while she was fresh. He said when he cut the flesh lotus, the corpse's thigh bled. He thought it was some rare, priceless treasure. The ignorance, it was absolutely staggering. He even asked me with a naive look, "Is it true that a pure woman's body produces the purest corpse oil with a faint fragrance?" I told him right then. In ancient times, some people specifically raised poor children, fed them secret fruits and herbs, and when they were 16 or 17, would roast them alive to render oil. That's called human oil, not corpse oil. It's been a forbidden practice for ages. I asked him if he knew why the corpse wasn't rotten, but had no tongue or teeth. The idiot couldn't answer. I told him this was the beauty plucking ordeal. In ancient times, eunuchs used beautiful women's tongues as toilet paper. What a humiliation. A pauper master who suffered so much in life deserves the most respect in our line of work. But him, he just rendered her oil and cut her flesh. And the result came, he said, after rendering the oil. He found the charred, blackened corpse disgusting and just threw it in a small river. At that moment, I really wanted to grab the nearest object and smash it in his face. A complete, utter fool. Good for nothing, but making trouble, suppressing my rage. I pulled out my phone and called the gardener. "Gardener, bring the flag of the 3 armies' fates to Central Hospital and find me. Tonight, I'm going into the river to retrieve the corpse myself. In the end, I still have to be the one to clean it up."